I'm Brian Miller, magician and motivational speaker. If you're a regular subscriber, thanks so much for sticking with me, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you my entire vlog editing workflow from start to finish. From importing and organizing the files, to my editing process, to my export and upload procedures. So before you can do any editing at all, you're going to need to import your footage and organize it. The organization of your files is so important, you will kick yourself if you've not been doing this. First, lay out all of your SD cards. I use a rather expensive organizational tool, a piece of paper. Before you plug a single SD card into the computer, we're going to make a whole bunch of folders where our files are going to go. So first, pull up the folder where you store raw video footage. For me, that's on whatever external hard drive I'm currently using. We're going to create a folder for each date that you have footage. So if it's a vlog from one day, you're just going to title a folder the date of that day. But if you have a couple of different days worth of footage that are all going to create one vlog, you're still going to make a different folder for each individual day. This will really save you time in the future when you go back looking for old footage. Within each date, make a folder for every single different camera that you used to capture footage. So if you've only got one camera, like a GoPro or a point and shoot, you just title the folder the name of that. But if, like me, you have a lot of different cameras that you use over the course of a vlog, you're going to title each different folder for each different camera. And I also occasionally get external audio from my Tascam DR05, so that goes in there too. Okay, now we're going to go down the list. Plug in the SD card for your first camera. Open a new Finder window or a new Finder tab and drag and drop all the footage from that date within that camera into the corresponding folder. Then repeat the process for each date if you have footage from multiple days. Do this process for every camera. Next, we're going to rename all of our files. Depending on which computer you're on, you will have a different tool for this, but Mac makes it really easy. Select all of the clips from within one day and one camera. Then hit right-click, rename. You'll get a bunch of different rename options here. I use replace text, and I replace whatever the generic first couple of letters are, in this case, MVI, with a very specific string that I've designed for myself. For me, I like the camera name first, underscore the date. That way, anytime I'm looking at any of my clips, just from the name alone, I know which camera it was taken on and what date it came from. Repeat this process for all of the clips from all of your cameras from all of the days. Okay, time to import all of our clips into our editing software. Pull up whatever editing software you're using. I use Final Cut Pro 10, and you're going to create a new project. Now, Final Cut Pro 10 actually calls what I think of as a project an event, and then you can have multiple projects within your event. You're going to need to figure out what your program calls these things. I make a new event that's titled the date that I'm planning on uploading this video. You can do it however you want, but that's always worked really well for me. That way, if I ever need to go back into my editing software, I can search the date that matches the upload date from YouTube. Okay, go ahead, drag and drop all of your clips into that event. You may need to wait while your program handles the clips and generates thumbnails. The length of time this takes, of course, depends on your computer and your processing power and your memory. Well, not your memory, but your computer's memory. At this point, I make sure that I have my software transcode or optimize any of the clips that I know from experience need to be that way when I go into editing. For me, I know that Final Cut Pro 10 does not love GoPro footage, and it doesn't love the footage coming out of my Note 8. So I'm going to select all of my GoPro footage and all of my Note 8 footage, and I'm going to tell Final Cut Pro 10 to optimize it, which means it's going to turn all of those clips into something that Final Cut likes to work with. This process can take a long time if you have a lot of footage and you're dealing with a slow computer. Luckily, I've got a pretty fast 2017 iMac with 24 gigs of memory, so it doesn't take that long. But even still, I can wait 20 or 30 minutes sometimes for my GoPro footage to optimize, but I'm always glad I did it later when I'm trying to edit it. Now, if you're in Final Cut, you'll notice over here on the left, you can click the little arrow and you'll get a whole bunch of different drop downs with keywords. And that's one of the reasons why we renamed our clips at the beginning. Final Cut is very smart. It identifies keywords within the clip names and gives you options to search within an event. That makes it incredibly easy if you're looking for a specific type of footage, if you only want to look at stuff from this camera versus that camera. Now that all of our clips are imported, it's time to do our first edit. On my first pass through the edit, I'm just going to select the clips and drag them into the timeline as I believe they're going to work for the vlog. I don't get too concerned about being really precise at this point because I'm going to make a lot of passes through this edit. During this first pass, I'll occasionally realize that I'm going to want to overlay something or use some B-roll or put some other graphic or text up on the screen later. I don't want to do that right now because I just want to get through the first initial edit. But I'm going to use markers to remind myself to put that stuff in later. Whenever I think of it, I add a marker, click modify, and add a little note to myself to remind me to do that stuff in a future pass. This is going to become a theme during this video. It's how I work in editing, and it's pretty much how I work in my personal and professional life. Whenever possible, I do one thing to completion from start to finish instead of trying to manage a bunch of different things at the same time. I'm much more effective and I manage my time better, more efficiently, and faster when I do one thing at a time and then the next thing. As such, we're going to make a whole bunch of passes straight through the vlog edit from start to finish, doing a different task each time. Now, before we go any further, it's worth noting that if you have any external audio, as I do when I vlog in the car, where I record the audio from my Tascam DR05, but the video is coming from my GoPro, at some point, either before or during your first pass through the edit, you want to synchronize those clips. If you're not sure how to do that, I did an entire video on it. I'll link it up here somewhere. Now, at some point during this first pass, I'm probably going to come upon some B-roll that I'm going to edit to music. At that point, I will stop my editing and I'll go find the music that I want. For me, that usually involves going over to Academic Sound, where I have a monthly subscription, and that's how I get all of my music. I search by genre, or I look for latest tracks. Depending on what I'm looking for, I find the music I want, I download it, I import it. So most of the time, I edit the B-roll to the music instead of just putting the clips in the timeline where I think they're going to go, and then having to sync it up to music later. Okay, so we've made it through the first entire pass. Take a breather, take a break, walk away for a little bit, do something else, come back in half an hour or an hour with a fresh set of eyes and a clear head to go through the second pass. The second pass is going to be tighter editing. I'm going to go through the entire vlog from start to finish, from beginning to end, and tighten up anything. This is when I get pretty liberal about cutting things out. As a magician, I was once taught if you can eliminate a move, you've probably made the trick better. I apply the same mindset to editing a vlog, which is if you can eliminate anything, you've probably made it better. Chances are in that first edit, you left a lot of stuff in there that you really didn't need to tell the story. There are a lot of times when I'm going through my second pass and I'm editing and I think, wow, I didn't need half of the stuff that I thought I needed in here. For me, my first edit tends to be 13 to 16 minutes long, and by the time I'm done with the second edit, I tend to be down to a 11 to 13 minute vlog. So I cut out 3 to 4 minutes worth usually just from the first pass through to the second pass through. Okay, now that we've done 2 complete passes through the vlog as an edit, we're going to go on to our third pass through where we're going to deal more specifically with audio. Now in Final Cut, I will duplicate my project at this point and name it something new. Similar to how if you're a photographer and you're in Photoshop, if you're going to do something to your background layer, you probably duplicate the layer and then work on the duplicate instead of the original, so you can always get back to where you started. That's how I think about this when I'm going through step by step in the edit process. So this third pass through is all about audio for me. I'm gonna go through and adjust all of the audio to make sure that my levels are at the right spot so that nothing gets way too loud or way too quiet. I'm going to adjust the music if I haven't done that already to make sure that matches the correct volume of the rest of the vlog. This is the step when I add EQs and compressors. Now, if you're a video person and you are not used to audio, you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, don't worry about it. I'm actually planning more videos in my Audio 101 for Video Creators series that are going to deal specifically with audio plugin kind of stuff, like EQ, like compressors. That's coming in future videos. Wait for it. All right, duplicate that event, name it something new, and here goes the fourth pass. On the fourth pass through the edit, I'm going to do basic color correction. At this point, everything that I have in the edit is still the way it came out of the camera, and I shoot pretty neutral. I don't want my computer to be wasting render time on stuff that I'm going to cut out later. So this, the fourth pass through, is when I do my basic color correction. Now I talked about this in my 9 tips after 1 year of vlogging video, but I create a lot of presets for myself. So this color correction process for me is pretty straightforward because I use the same cameras all the time and I film the same way all the time. So the presets I've created for myself, typically 80% of the time I drag them onto the clip and that's all I need. The other 20%, I just have a little bit of tweaking to do from the point of my preset because it's my preset designed to work with my cameras and my clips. Okay, duplicate that, name it something new. Here we go for color grading. Now I have a feeling this is a step that most of you are going to skip, but when I do B-roll segments, I like them to look cinematic. I am going to grade those segments. In Final Cut, that means selecting all the clips from the B-roll segment and comping that, right? Creating a compound clip, and then I'm going to be able to add a grade to that entire segment. This is also when I add the cinemascope bars that you see a lot of YouTubers put on their B-roll segments. That's all I do in the fifth pass through. Okay, one last duplicate. This is so that we can do our very final touches before the export. This is the point when I do my final audio level. I have a feeling, again, this is something most of you probably don't do. I don't know if a lot of YouTubers do this, but because I came from audio to video, I really care about everything maintaining a good quality audio level. So I have an audio compressor preset that I've designed so that I throw that on the final clip before my export, and that means that every single one of my videos should have basically the exact same volume. So if you're watching my videos and they're auto playing from one to another, you're not hearing the volume jump up and down from video to video depending on what I was filming that day. This is how I make sure that doesn't happen. This is also the point when I add my watermark. Now, I have a watermark in the lower right-hand corner, and to be honest, I like doing it, but I wish I didn't because it takes forever to render. I have a 3.2 gigahertz processor and 24 gigabytes of memory, and it still takes my computer 20 to 30 minutes to render that stupid watermark for a 10 to 15 minute video. And finally, it's time to export the video. I export as a QuickTime movie because I'm on a Mac. I go 1080p. I use 24 frames per second. I use 48 kilohertz for audio, and I always have anything clicked that optimizes quality over export time. I'd rather it take longer to export at a better quality than vice versa. My final movie files tend to be anywhere between 1.2 and 2 gigabytes per vlog, just so you know. And it's finally time to upload to YouTube. Yay! So of course, while you're waiting for it to upload, you're going to put in a title, add your description, put in any keywords. For vlogs, keywords really don't matter. They're much more important for review videos or tutorial videos. The chance of somebody finding your vlog based on a random search is very low. Vlogs are for people that are already following your channel, so don't worry too much about the keywords. Now, I schedule all my videos to go up at 9 a.m. on whatever day I'm uploading. I typically upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And when the video upload is finally complete and processed, I will go in and add any cards and end screens that I want. And that's it. It's done. So as you can see, the process of editing a vlog can be very time consuming and intense. But when you have a workflow that you use every time and it works for you, you'll find yourself making better content more efficiently, more effectively, and more often. If you don't follow this channel, you don't know how much I travel, but I am a magician and motivational speaker. I travel all over the world sharing my magic and my message, and in between maintaining over 250 live events a year, plus all the travel and running a business, I also find time to shoot, edit, and upload 3 videos a week. And the only reason I'm able to do that is because I have an effective workflow. Well, I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel if you aren't already, and always remember that our world is a shared experience. Thanks very much. Have a great day. And it's finally time to upload to YouTube. Yay! And it's finally time to upload to YouTube. Yay! And it's finally time to upload to YouTube.